Welcome to our health class number 14. We are covering two short topics. One is about fungus on the feet, and another is about a cough that persists and gives trouble at nighttime. As we begin our section on fungus, let us pray before we begin. I'm kneeling. Dear Father in heaven, I ask that you be with us today as we study the health message, that we will be blessed and be able to incorporate it into our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. There are many around the world right now suffering from COVID-19 coronavirus, and we are praying daily that the virus will mutate and not be so oppressive and stop. We're just hoping that this will be over soon. When we get to the section on cough, it will be helpful to those who are suffering from corona infection. First, we begin with fungus of the feet. There's a lot of this inside of those who have to wear boots. When I was in South Sudan last year about this time, the guards were at their post by the gate in very warm weather, 119 degrees Fahrenheit. And all day long, their feet are in a dark place in those big boots, and they itch when they get the fungus. So one day, as I was coming through the gate, I offered to them a remedy. They were thrilled, and I continued to help them, and they found such relief from the itching. The tropical heat, the moisture, all combined together to make a very miserable foot. However, even in cold weather, if you wear the same dark boots with no sunlight going in there and no way to treat that, you can also suffer. You can find a foot powder to put in there. You can also find charcoal powder to put in the boots and change out the socks often. I'll show you how to treat those socks when you're changing them out. Between the toes and under the feet, there's a lot of itching and burning when getting a fresh infection, and it's very miserable. It's not from a lack of bathing daily. You can wash your feet and wash them 3 times a day and still have this problem. If you're bathing in a public place, you're walking barefoot without any protection, then you can pick it up for life and have it continually hiding under the toenails or in the creases of your shoes, or it just is very persistent. And as your immune system decreases with age, you can continue to have this kind of an infection. So when you're in a public place, find something to protect your feet. Going barefoot is a really big invitation to the fungus to camp on your feet. To get the burning to stop on your feet, number 1, you wash with soap and water. Use protection. Carefully dry after you've been washing your feet. Carefully dry, make sure they're really dry. You can also soak your feet in a pan of warm water with charcoal in it, about a half a cup of charcoal in a big pan of water for about an hour. It will really help. Then after that, dry your feet very well and get an antifungal cream and mix it with the charcoal so it sticks on there and stays. And then you put your socks on to go to sleep so that your bedding doesn't turn black. The socks will keep your medication in place throughout the night. Also, socks will protect other people in your environment. Sunshine can kill the fungus. So you put your shoes up outside in the sunlight for killing, or your boots, to get the virus. If it's down inside, the fungus, if it's down inside the creases, it takes a lot. Just use the powder. Socks can be washed daily and treated in the sunshine. You can take, during the washing of the socks, you can take a boiling pot. After you've washed them, you put the socks inside the boiling water for 3 to 10 minutes, and it will help kill the fungus that's living in the socks. Then you dry it in the sun for 3 hours and it's good. There's something you can eat that will help in the problem with fungus of the feet. You can eat things with vitamin A, and you look for the foods with the highest orange color, like the yams, the sweet potatoes, the papaya is another one, the mango, and persimmons are another one with the orange and carrots. But you don't want to combine in the same meal the fruits and the vegetables, so take the papaya and the persimmons, mangoes at one time, and then at another time the sweet potatoes. Now the sweet potato is known as being the highest in vitamin A and extremely important for boosting your immune system and for bringing healing. So it really helps in getting rid of the fungus. Foods with vitamin E help you with the fungus. Almonds have a very good source of vitamin E. Avocados, sunflower seeds, pumpkins, and squash have vitamin E. You take large spoons full of sunflower seeds and you get a lot of vitamin E. And then again, the papaya has not only vitamin A, but vitamin E. Another thing that you can do in your own home, if you're staying with someone else, they will be doing the cleaning of the floors, is very important. Try using Lysol to help get rid of the fungus spores. Protect your feet while walking in public places. It feels good to walk in sand, but if many people have walked along the beach in the sand with bare feet, then you can pick up their spores in the sand. Most people don't think of their feet as beautiful, but God does, even if they're covered with fungus. He says in Isaiah 52 verse 7 in the Bible, "How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, that brings good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, and saith unto Zion, thy God reigneth." It's nice that God thinks of our feet as beautiful. And in Desire of Ages 8:28 it says, "How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings and publisheth peace, and thy God reigneth." Same verse is being quoted, Isaiah. Now we're going to move to the topic of cough remedies. There are a lot of cough remedies that God has told us about. Any cough that produces blood or blood-stained mucus, as well as any cough that lasts more than 2 weeks, really should have a good checkup and see what's causing the coughing and find a diagnosis. Many causes are these: allergies, bacteria, fungus, viruses, and you don't know what it is in the air that's causing the irritation. Maybe you're not drinking enough water. That is easy to forget. eucalyptus is a remedy that God recommends. Where we live, it's not growing, only the pine trees are growing, but eucalyptus can be purchased in the market. And in the floral section where there's bouquets, you can buy bunches at Safeway of eucalyptus leaves of different kinds. There are more than 650 different kinds of eucalyptus. It works as an expectorant. It helps cough out the mucus. You can boil some on the stove, and the vapor can go through the whole house. Actually, during that process, it has antiseptic ability, cleaning the air in your home. Really helps. And you can form a tent over your head, over the stove, and breathe in that vapor for a few minutes, 30 minutes. It really makes the lungs feel better. It loosens up the sticky mucus, makes it easier to cough out the mucus out of the chest. There are lozenges, and my favorite comes from Burt's Bees, and it has natural throat drops. It has different flavors. One is honey, one is pomegranate, and pomegranate has zinc in it too, so you're getting a lot of value there. You can get the oil of eucalyptus, or you can get Vicks Vapor Rub and get about a spoon or fingerful, put it in the hot water and get the vapor that way. Really helps. There are many products on the market with eucalyptus in it, shampoos and bathing shampoos, soaps for babies. There's a lot of products. People are very aware in the business world that these are very good and popular. You can control earache pain when you're inhaling the eucalyptus oil or steam solution. It will prompt in the back of your throat, there's a little tube called the eustachian tube that goes up into the inner ear, and it opens, and the fluids can drain easier, and you get a balanced pressure in the ear, often relieving a painful ear. Now, in Selected Messages, Book 301, I'm going to quote how Ellen White used honey and eucalyptus. When suffering from difficulties with my throat, I take a glass of boiled honey, and into this I put a few drops of eucalyptus oil, stirring it well. I'll demonstrate that. Okay, so the eucalyptus and the honey are here, and you stir it up very well. Then she says, when the cough comes on, I take a teaspoon of this mixture and relief comes almost immediately. In another place, she said, if that isn't enough when you lie down, there's like a collection of fluid sometimes in the lungs, and you lie down and you start coughing really bad. So have it by your bedside. She said, it's okay to take it again and again, 2 or 3 times, and it will settle down. Another thing coming up, I'll show a slide on it. Eucalyptus in a warm foot bath, where the leaves have been put in there from the eucalyptus tree, or the oil it has a benefit in case of cough and pains in the chest and the lungs. There's a picture of in Africa where I had a cough, and I put all those leaves in there in hot water, and relief came. It was a wonderful thing. And sinuses, you can relieve the sinuses with that vapor of the eucalyptus. You can put your handkerchief inside that hot boiling water with eucalyptus leaves and put it over your face and breathe through it like it's a mask, and you will be getting like a nebulizer. You're getting the moisture of the eucalyptus in the water coming into your lungs. It's very nice. Now, if you're struggling with asthma and maybe some allergies, take an onion, slice it, and the freshly sliced onion puts out a fragrance that often will make your eyes burn, but it also will open up your bronchioles and help you breathe easier without coughing. Hot and cold fomentations we demonstrated in the class. You take the towels and you twist them opposite directions until the towel is totally wrung out, and then you will be putting that on the chest, but first you put a layer of cloth with charcoal in it. Then you put on the hot towel and then cover that with towels and a wool blanket to keep in the steam and warmth, and keep that on for about 20 minutes. Then you put a friction rub of ice, then return the hot towels. You can warm those up also using the microwave as it's shown in the picture here. So you have many options. If you're on a camp out and you're having trouble, you can boil up your water and wring out your towels and treat your lungs wherever you are. There's an example of the cold mitten friction. Don't make that take a long time. Just get it done and cover them again with heat and moisture with new hot fresh towels. To use hot and cold showers is another benefit with moisture in the air. Some showers are very simple ones. Others have like 7 jets coming at you from all directions, beating on your chest and your back and everything at the same time and coming directly down on you. And the whole air fills up with moisture, and in just seconds your lungs will feel better. And if you turn it to cold, if you can stand that for just a few minutes, then you're going to increase the white blood cells in your bloodstream, and those help fight infection, but then switch it back on to heat. Hot and cold is good for circulation. When you have your windows closed, your curtains, heavy curtains over the light source from outside, you can find that in your home there's an increased growth. We learned in microbiology class that within 15 inches of the window, those microbes are practically zero. But as at a further distance from the sun, then there's more in the room. So fresh air, sunlight are very good treatment for the problem of coughing. And take your bedding. The bedding needs to go out in the sunlight and have fresh air. In the sweat of a sick person, there are the microbes, the viruses, the bacteria that the body is trying to throw out. You can assist that by washing their clothes, soap and water, and putting them in the sun to dry. If you only put them in the dryer and it tumbles, that's a good heat and it kills a lot of things, but the sun is another blessing if you can. 10 minutes. Rooms that are not exposed to light and air become damp. Bedding and beds gather dampness, and the atmosphere in these rooms is poisonous. They need to be exchanged. They need lots of sunlight to get well, because it has not been purified by light and air. Councils on Health 57. So we've talked about vapor for the cough. We've talked about eucalyptus and honey. We've talked about the lozenges that have that. We've made our own cough syrup. We talked about the foot bath with the eucalyptus in the foot bath. We've talked about hot and cold. Getting back and forth, hot and cold mitten friction. And fresh air and sunshine. Fresh freshen the bedding clothes and the clothing, the sleep clothes or the day clothes that the person is wearing who's suffering. And clean the sheets often, not just once a week when they're really sick. Now there is on the market a eucalyptus, lavender, and beeswax in petroleum base, and you can put that all over the legs and the feet and put the socks on before they go to sleep. This will continue the treatment, and you can also put some up here and on the chest. You can also get a humidifier. A humidifier that is hot is dangerous for a little one because it might tip over and they would burn. But the hot vapor seems to help carry the molecules better. And if you have one on the stove, keep adding the water and make sure your eucalyptus leaves are still there. You can refresh those every 12 hours. These are the main points on cough treatment that I have in my notes. The sleeping apartments should be as large as possible and so arranged as to have circulation of air through them day and night. Those who have excluded the air from their sleeping rooms should begin to change their course immediately. You just start by opening the window a little bit, and then each day a little more and more until you have fresh air actually circulating even in the cold weather through the house. That fresh air exchange is very healthy for the lungs. So the windows open, the blinds fastened back, the air circulating freely for several hours in the day, if not all day, through the sleeping apartments. But make sure that the bedding also goes out into the sun. Otherwise, there's multiplications of the microbes there. Impurities will be removed from the room if you do this, taking the clothing out into the sun. When someone is sick is very important. Very important. Those who have not had a free circulation of air in their rooms through the night generally awake feeling exhausted or feverish and know not the cause. Counsels on Health, page 58. Let in the air by degrees, like I mentioned. That's Counsels on Health, 57. There's another thing besides the 8 to 10 cups of water a day. There is a blessing in the garlic. I wondered, how am I going to eat the garlic? Because there are some in my home that don't like the odor of it, but when they're not there and they're out working, I can take 3, maybe a half of this size of a garlic and chop it fine, have boiling water, and turn off the heat, put in all the garlic, set the timer for 2 minutes. Then, when that is 2 minutes is up, you pour your tea. If there's nothing in it to sweeten it or to flavor it or anything, it's just a hot tea of garlic that helps the cough. You can do that 3 cups a day when you're having a bad coughing problem, and it will really help. Then you can also use garlic in your cooked food. You can put garlic chunks in things that you normally aren't putting garlic. When you're sick, you need the garlic and the onion in your cooked foods. It will help your lungs. That completes the remedies for cough, remedies, the cold, common cold, the flu. These can be greatly helped by following these guidelines. Thank you for listening. We welcome you back again next week for our next health program.